The Toronto Blue Jays have a golden opportunity to continue to separate themselves from that 500 mark and get ever so close to the number one spot in the AL East, which the Yankees currently hold above them. The Jays have been playing unbelievable baseball, one of the hottest teams in MLB, and it's truly been remarkable to watch. Nobody was expecting them to do this, but they are doing the unthinkable. And it's not who you think that is leading the charge. It has been not Vladimir Guerrero Jr., not Bo Bichette. It has been the secondary guys. And Alejandro Kirk, fresh off of signing that extension, has been one of the best players in baseball. Not just one of the best catchers, one of the best players in Major League Baseball. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. And before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're not too far away from 3,000. So I really appreciate all the support that we've gotten, especially on the recent videos. It's been remarkable. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it here. The Toronto Blue Jays have been one of the better stories in Major League Baseball that not anyone is really talking about. And they didn't get a lot of respect coming into the year. They were basically 4-1 odds to actually make the playoffs, coming off of a terrible season for everyone that was not named Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And I guess you could throw Bowden Francis in there as well for the way that he performed towards the end of last season. But there weren't many bright spots, and there were a lot more question marks than there were answers heading into the season. But those have started to dissipate as the Blue Jays have gotten a ton out of Alejandro Kirk, who now has an OPS over 800, has been one of the best hitting catchers in the league, one of the best hitters in the league over the last month or so, and especially in clutch situations, whether it's runners in scoring position, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Kirk has been excelling in those spots, and he has been a massive reason as to why the Blue Jays have been continuing to pick up wins here lately, even without Anthony Santander, which was their star acquisition in the offseason. So the Blue Jays, again, still have a ton of question marks. Like, the bullpen has been up and down. They don't really have, Jeff Hoffman is a shutdown guy, but he hasn't been performing like one as of late. So that's going to be something that the Blue Jays need to iron out, as well as their starting rotation. There is a hole there that has been left by Max Scherzer, who seems to be on the way back, but still no exact timetable as to when we could expect him back on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays with that thumb injury. So still, a lot of things need to fall their way in order for them to make the playoffs. Some teams need to keep playing bad baseball. They need to keep playing good baseball, but right now, the early returns, about 60-some-odd games into the season for the Blue Jays, 67 games into the season for the Blue Jays, has been very positive, and they are right there. They are right there in the mix, and they haven't even gotten that much out of Vladdy and Bo as of yet. So we're waiting. We're waiting for them to have those typical superstar-like hot streaks that they have had in years past, but we haven't seen it. We haven't seen a power surge from Vladdy yet. We haven't seen Bo just hit 500 over the course of a 2-week stretch. Like, it hasn't happened yet, but here we are where they're sitting with a 37-30 record, looking to go for a sweep today against the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that has been pretty good in their own right as well in the NL Central. So I've been really pleased as a Blue Jay fan from an outside perspective, no longer covering the team on an everyday basis, but just watching them go about their business and continue to pick up wins in comeback fashion where they really struggled last year. Last year, when they were down 2-1 in the late innings, kind of packed it in, and we're like, all right, well, here goes another loss, another game that they could have won, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they didn't. And now we're 14 games under 500. Like, that's how last season went for them, but that's no longer the case this year. And they're really looking to turn the tides and get back into the playoffs for the first time since 2022, or 2023, I should say. So some positives, some massive positives for the Blue Jays, like you have Addison Barger, who has really become a massive power threat in the middle of that lineup. Ernie Clement, who continues to rake after a tough start to his season, and the damage that he's doing against lefties. I mean, what more could we say about that? So very impressive out of him, very impressive out of a lot of other guys up and down that lineup, and some surprise contributors as well in the bullpen, whether it's Brandon Little, Mason Fluharty. Those guys have really provided a massive boost to the Blue Jays, and being lefties as well, it's another advantage that the Blue Jays would gladly take and run to the bank with. So, again, very impressed with what I've been seeing. Very happy as a Blue Jay fan from an outside perspective, and this looks like a team that wants to make the playoffs again. This looks like a team that is playing together, and they have been one of the better stories in Major League Baseball that I wish would get a little bit more limelight, but I feel like it is also better when they're flying under the radar, because there were massive expectations in years past, and we all know the story. They couldn't get the job done in the playoffs, getting swept in back-to-back years by the Seattle Mariners and then the Minnesota Twins after that. So still a ton of question marks that the Blue Jays need to atone for, but how can you not be excited by what you're seeing if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan right now? Like there's just no question that they have been a huge storyline, and they're just picking up wins. They're finding ways to win. Even if they blow leads late, they find ways to win in the extra innings. They find ways to scratch, claw, and fight for an extra few runs to give themselves a bit of breathing room. It's been a ton of fun to watch. And like I mentioned, they have a golden opportunity to go for the sweep today against the St. Louis Cardinals, which should be a lot of fun. Keep it locked on 3 Up, 3 Down for everything that you need to know, whether it's Blue Jays, Major League Baseball. Ton of great stories flying around right now, but my personal favorite, and of course a little bit of bias in there, is the Toronto Blue Jays for the way that they have been playing. But make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. That'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you all so much for making it this far. Really appreciate all the support that I've gotten on recent videos. Again, we are so close to 3,000. So if you could help get me there, it would mean the world to me. Seriously, thank you guys. You're all the best. And on the way out, make sure to check out Baseball Town as well, baseballtown.ca. They're your one-stop shop for everything that you need baseball or softball related, whether it's cleats, gloves, batting gloves, bats. They got you covered. The best equipment at the most competitive prices. 3 locations in Laval, St. Hubert, or Ottawa, 3 Canadian locations, that is, but they do ship all across North America. So check them out and keep it locked here on 3 Up, 3 Down. But I will see you all tomorrow. Let's have a good rest of the week, people, and hopefully the Blue Jays can get the sweep today in St. Louis against the Cardinals.